A warm welcome back to today's industry recap. Airbus A220 news, A321neo delays, and a potential new mammoth aircraft order. Why not begin there with Qatar Airways looking to beef up their commitment to wide-body planes, with a new purchase expected to arrive in the next month or so. Speaking with Reuters, the airline's chief commercial officer stated that a new aircraft order was being processed to grow its commitment to this type of aircraft. No specific jet was announced, however a deal will likely be announced in the coming month, preventing any hiccups in the contractual arrangements between now and then, which can always take place. Qatar Airways' reasoning behind a new purchase is to continue finding ways to have one of the industry's newest and most efficient fleets. It believes that new aircraft purchases, such as the one that it is currently working on, are key to that. To continue competing with airlines and growing, there's a drive to renew the fleet and add capacity wherever possible, especially being felt after the effects of the global pandemic have worn off. Therefore, while the airline already has a healthy backlog of planes, that backlog is expected to grow to enable deliveries to continue long into 2030, so Qatar Airways can adequately meet demand and also growth. The Doha-based carrier has submitted RFPs, or request for proposals, to determine what plane makers can offer it regarding aircraft, availability, price points, and so much more. All of this will be key into determining which direction the company does actually head. But which direction could Qatar Airways head? Well, like I said, at this stage, a specific aircraft for the new order has not been stated publicly. Say, not like how Riyadh Air are targeting the A350-1000 or the 777-9. For Qatar Airways, it's been broadly put as a wide-body plane. The airline is looking towards this to align with growth strategies, remembering that Qatar Airways' fleet already includes most available wide-body jets, from the 787 Dreamliner to the Airbus A320 and even the long-existing Boeing 777. In fact, their order book also includes considerable units for the upcoming 777X series, so they are very much familiar with every available widebody. It's which direction they feel they need to strengthen. Is that in the more modest widebody such as the Dreamliner? Is that in a high-capacity version, say the Dash 1000 or the 777-9? Or is it a little bit of everything? Qatar Airways' direction for the deal could very much head in any direction, whether equally it could be split down the middle with a reliance on both Airbus and Boeing produced aircraft, or different. In what would be considered a win for the manufacturer that could secure the entire contract, Qatar Airways would be putting all its eggs in the one basket, going for either Boeing or Airbus, resulting in one leading plane maker missing out on what is considered no doubt a pretty important contract. Qatar Airways has not again publicly revealed the direction of the purchase, choosing to wait until the contracts are firmed and obviously at a point where an announcement can likely be made. That to occur maybe in April, but again, that's subject to change. With any of these deals, hiccups can take place, they can be delayed by several months, so you can't totally take it for granted, although you do know at least that Qatar is working on such a deal. Keen to hear your thoughts. Is there a direction you feel the business should be heading? Over to Jet2, who have announced that their planned growth through the deployment of the Airbus A321neo has been delayed. As part of the future fleet planning, the company expects to take delivery of 14 new owned and leased CFM-powered A321neo jets produced by Airbus. Thanks to these fresh deliveries, reliance on the A321neo will increase. By the end of summer 2025, the total fleet number for this type is expected to reach 23 units. However, several aircraft are delayed well past their previously agreed delivery dates, and Jet2 expects to feel the repercussions from this. Jet2 says that the delays will result in additional operational costs, as they attempt to find ways to cover the gaps in which the newly delivered A321neos would be operational during the peak summer flying schedule but are not ready. The need to cover parts of the business to limit the impact such as these is incredibly frustrating. For Jet2, the effect stops them from operating normally and making the most of what they would say is pretty significant demand levels across key segments. In a statement, however, the carrier confirmed that it still has very much an upbeat feeling towards the aircraft and has enjoyed operating it thus far, with the plane really delivering on everything Jet2 had hoped for when it purchased the plane. But in terms of deliveries, there are a little bit of complications there. The A321neo represents an integral part of Jet2's fleet renewal efforts that are ongoing. Again, while those acquisition efforts have been complicated, the plane's already showing value through things such as reduced emissions, enhanced customer experience, and far better operating economics than the planes that it is replacing, certainly highlighted by the airline and executives themselves. Fleet data says that Jet2 has 118 aircraft to its name, and the A321 series is the youngest in the family when measured by average age, which is 2.6 years. That is very much driven by the 14 A321neos already in service, averaging just 0.9 years, really helping dramatically reduce the age of the fleet, therefore improving efficiency, and probably to you, now you're able to see why there is such an emphasis on bringing this plane on. Unfortunately, the inability to take delivery of new planes on time is not a problem just seen at Jet2, but certainly felt industry-wide, with manufacturers emerging from the global pandemic struggling to meet and sustain output rates, and even planned increases have not gone ahead. That causes some pretty big turmoil to supply chains and more, and an inability for airlines to take the planes they need when they were initially meant to. Over to the final story. Lufthansa will fly the Airbus A220 in the summer 2025 season to mitigate capacity loss and grow market share. Cited by aeroroutes.aero, the carrier will once again deploy the aircraft from Munich, working with airBaltic, the latter something we did already know. This is an airline that heavily relies on the A220 to operate some of its aircraft now on a short-term lease. Lufthansa will primarily, like I said, focus on A220 service from Munich, from a period stretching more than half a year, with the first routes commencing on the 30th of March this year, concluding at the end of October this year also. As a result, the agreement reached with airBaltic will be timed accordingly to meet peak demand season seen across the northern summer schedule, which runs during this time frame. During the 6 months, Lufthansa will serve locations with the A220s such as Amsterdam, Bilbao, Helsinki, Edinburgh, Lyon, Malta, Paris Charles de Gaulle, Copenhagen, and Budapest, to just name a few. The airline's ability to fly the A220, however, is not fresh developments. Lufthansa previously announced an agreement with airBaltic to enhance its relationship as a crucial wet lease provider and acquire a 10% stake in the Latvian company. In that agreement, published on the 29th of January, Lufthansa Group stated that their wet lease arrangement with airBaltic would be extended for 3 more years beyond summer 2025, and as part of this arrangement, the partnership would build upon the flexibility to see the deployment of 21 additional A220-300s during the summer season, 5 of those being for the winter period at Lufthansa Group hubs as well. While the airBaltic A220 deal is exciting, it is certainly seen as a short-term solution for the moment to try and navigate some of those supply chain woes. While Lufthansa relies on this company and its aircraft on a wet lease, the group has firm plans for the regional aircraft type produced by Airbus to actually be included in its portfolio firmly moving forward. That is through a deal announced in December 2023 when Lufthansa went on a shopping spree, purchasing 40 of the A220 jets, focusing on the Dash 300. They stated that the planes would be deployed towards the new Lufthansa City division. Keen to hear your thoughts on any of the stories in today's video. You can drop them down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow and hopefully every day after that.
And we'll fly.